Hi, this is the Love Your Life Show with Susie Pettit, Certified Life and Wellness Coach. Join Susie as she helps you with your wellness and mindset so you can live a life you love. Let's go, warriors!
Oh, hello, my lovely warriors. It is me. I hope you are amazing. I am amazing. Whenever I click play or record on here, I think, oh, yay, I get to talk to the warriors. And I am thinking that right now because you know what? Today, I'm bringing you an episode. I'm making this one quick and to the point, but I'm bringing an episode to just sort of serve as a beep interrupt in our busy lives. I know we're busy, and to just look at where we are in our life. We are halfway through the year, warriors. Another year, 6 full months since January 1st, 2022. And I want to be that voice in your ear, that comforting, supportive voice that's like, hey, let's pause for a sec. And let's look at how we're feeling about the life that we're living. Remember back to January 2022? Or maybe some of us, we can remember back to January 2020. And let's think about what goals and dreams we had for ourselves. What were those goals and dreams? Can you put on your non-judgmental, kind hat and answer that for me? Thinking back to January 2022, and what goals did you have for yourself that you've been acting on? Which goals did you have for yourself that you haven't been acting on? And maybe you're trying to forget that you had. Basically, what did you want your future life to be like back in January 2020 or 2022 or whenever? And how close or far away are you from that goal? Okay, no matter how you answer that, the good news is you're the type of person who listens to podcasts like this. And what that tells me is if you're the type of person who listens to shows like this, that tells me that you have goals and dreams for yourself. You have moments where you let yourself dream and think of things that you'd like to be different. That's a very cognizant, mindful way of being. That's half the process. You're not just bumbling along, letting life push and pull you one way or another, or at least not most of all of the time, okay? Does this mean we don't have setbacks? Does this mean we don't have days that entirely suck, where we do nothing that we wanted to do? No, we have those days. I have those days. Okay. The difference between people who consistently report greater life satisfaction and those who don't is that we catch ourselves when we fall off track sooner. They listen to shows like this. They reach for that higher branch. They define failure looser, okay, with more of a growth mindset. Okay, we may notice that we've fallen off that proverbial wagon, yet we don't just sit there on the ground crying and lamenting and blaming about how much we suck for falling off that wagon. At least not for too long, maybe a little, but then we get up and we get back into it. Listeners of this show like you are quicker to view their setbacks with kindness, to get up and get going again. And this is where I always like to start. Being that kind watcher of our lives, that kind observer. I went for so many years of being just this mean, militant sort of disciplinarian in my head. And that is a very different energy than I have now. And it's also a different energy than that creates a long-term, lasting, sustaining habit change and life satisfaction. So let's go back to that question I first asked you. How are you feeling about the life you're living? And putting on that non-judgmental, kind detective hat to find the answer. No criticism needed here. Pretend you're talking to me. In fact, don't worry, you can talk to me. Answer this question aloud. I won't call you crazy. Okay? If you were talking to me, imagine what I would say. Remember, I am your biggest supporter, your biggest cheerleader. I see the greatness in you. I truly feel like I have a superpower and can see the potential in all of my clients and all of the members of my Midlife Warrior group. Okay, I encourage you to lean into that vision, that superpower vision of mine today, and see you and your life through my eyes. What would someone who loves and supports you say about where you are now, halfway through the year, and where you want to go? I know one thing, I wouldn't be criticizing you or shaming you. We don't make lasting change through criticism and shame. Wasting our precious mental energy beating ourselves up for things that have already happened is a complete waste of our time, and it gets us nowhere. Looking at how we got to where we are with compassion and curiosity to learn from it is where the magic happens. Sort of this open mindset. So, hey, we set some goals in January. Where are we now? Or maybe we didn't set goals. Why not? One of the core skills I teach and reinforce in my popular happiness, that's hard to say, I reinforce in my popular happiness habits course is the ability to reflect kindly on our day. To look back at our day and ask, okay, so what went well today? And if I were to do something different tomorrow, what would it be? Okay, I don't encourage people to do what our brain is wired to do and to beat ourselves up and criticize ourselves, to waste time reflecting at the end of the day or at the end of a month or at the end of a year of like, okay, what did I do wrong? Let's criticize myself. Let's look at how stinky I am. No, we reflect kindly. We try to learn why we did what we did. And then we plot a course of action for moving forward. So let's use that skill now. When looking at more than just a day, when looking at the last 6 months, 6 years, remind yourself to treat yourself kindly, no matter where you are on your journey, whether you're on or off the wagon, or run over by the wagon. Be nice, dear one. Be kind. What would I say? Don't waste your time beating yourself up for things you've already done and that you can't change. Rather, look kindly at where you are. Take responsibility for where you are. And kindly ask what you would like to shift. What would you like to be different? What small thing could you choose to do today that could set you up for success 6 months from now? Don't wait until next week, next month, or January 1st, 2023 to start to take action on living the life you want to live. It's like, okay, I'll do it then. No, you're training now. Okay, you're training now. What have you been training at doing these last 6 months? And let's set something up, maybe shift a little in one of the areas of your life. Which area would you like to be different? Your relationships? Your romantic relationship? Your relationship with your kids? Your relationship with yourself inside of your head? Your relationship with your friends? Your parents? How about your physical health? Do you eat foods that help your body and aging? How's your drinking? Does it support you and your healthy goals? Do you move your body in ways that support the longevity and lifestyle you want? How about your sleep? Do you get the 8 to 9 hours of sleep that our human bodies need? How about joy? Do you routinely do things that bring you joy and light you up? Not just when on vacation. Okay. Just want to remind you, we generally don't meet our goals because we start too big. Maybe that's not a reminder. Maybe this is news for you, but we generally start too big. We think of all the things we want to change or do, and we start too big. Okay, we think of our perfect day and line everything up like that. We're like, okay, I'll wake up and I'll go to the gym, even though I haven't been in months. And then I'll eat protein and produce at every meal, even though I haven't planned my meals for weeks. And then I'll schedule my top tasks and priorities, even though I have no freaking clue where my paper calendar is, etc., etc. You get it. We start too big, warriors. Okay, people often make the mistake of looking at other people's lives or my life and think I'm super disciplined and scheduled and they need to jump in and do that. Okay, first of all, it's never good to compare ourselves to others. Compare and despair. Okay? And well, why? But that's sort of the second reason is because in my particular case, it's a great example. I've been hacking my super distractible ADD brain for decades. I've become a master of habit formation because of my brain. It's not like I'm some special snowflake. I'm certainly not. I've been at this for decades. In fact, I've had a coach for decades. Okay, this is what I think coaching does. It helps us learn how to best be ourselves. Okay, how to best manage this human brain that we're given. And I am a master at this now, decades later, a master at habits because I know how compounding effect works. And I know that it is the trick to a life with more ease and emotional freedom. Okay, it is why my best-selling program is the Happiness Habits program. Oh my, without my ability to look kindly at my life and my mistakes, coupled with this idea of just try a little bit better, small shifts, 1% better. Without that, I'd be a mess, which is what you might be feeling right now, and I get it. It's okay. Okay, how would you know what to do? You weren't born with this information. It's part of why I love having you listen to this podcast. Grab the podcast roadmap and listen to the foundational episodes. Okay, that's at smbwell.com/roadmap. Okay, or sign up for the Happiness Habits program class today. Let me help you. You're not broken, and it's not too late. All right, that said, this episode, I'm not going to dive into habits and habit formation. I have plenty of past episodes with that, and I have the Happiness Habits program, where I help you train your brain to do the things that raise life satisfaction, because I've done it. Today, I really wanted to check in here and serve as a break in our busy lives, as a check-in mid-year, to make sure that you're paying attention to you. I know my listeners, I know you're paying attention to all the other things going on around you. Whether your kids are getting to their dive practice and they remember their water, whether your husband remembers his dentist appointments and called his mom for her birthday, whether your neighbor is doing okay with her grieving, whether you're reaching out to your friends enough, and on and on and on and on. This episode is that screech to say, hey there, lovely one. Tap, tap, tap. What about you? Susie cares about you. What kind of life are you living? Okay. What did you want to be doing right now this time of year, last January? What did you want to be different? And let's get started in a really small way. What's one small action you could take today to get 1% closer to that vision of yourself? What could you commit to today for the next week or the next 6 months? Okay, what you see now in your life is a result of the choices you made 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years ago. How about you make a small choice today to see what's one area that you'd like to feel better about? Next week, next month, at the end of this year. Do you want to exercise more? How about you commit to walking 5 minutes a day? Okay, no, it's not too small an amount. I wanted to stretch more. I committed to stretching 1 minute a day. 1 minute a day is way better than what I had been doing. No minutes a day. Okay? You want to feel more connected in your marriage? How about you commit to writing 2 things you love about your partner in a notebook each day? You want to feel more confident and better about yourself? How about you track and write down how many minutes you spend on social media today? And you could spend 1% less tomorrow and then the next day. Okay, think of that 1%, warrior, for 2 reasons. 1, starting small is how we sustain change. It is that compounding effect. It is that 1% of stretching 1 minute of stretching for me today doesn't make me this stretchable, pliable being. But if I do 1 minute every day until the end of the year, you can bet I will be more stretchy. Okay, shifting something just 1% is where I see women make amazing changes in their lives. I have a habit tracker you can get at smbwell.com/habit tracker. I'll just put all these links in the show notes at smbwell.com/205. Okay. But starting small is how we sustain change. Okay. It is that compounding effect. Okay. The other thing I need to mention about starting small is that you're not as far from the amazing life you crave as you think. Okay, we think it's so far away, we need to do so much to get there, and it's really not. Okay? The stress we feel every night because we're like, oh my God, what's for dinner? And the kids are all asking me for dinner. And it's like, okay, you know what? Let's sit down for 5 minutes on Sunday and plan out our meals. 5 minutes. That's a small shift. You know what that does? Saves me. I can't even tell you how many minutes I used to spend each day being like, what's for dinner? Okay, I need to go to the market. And unplanned. It makes such a difference. So let me just remind you, you're not as far from the amazing life you crave as you think. 1 choice, 1% a day, 1 shift is where it starts. This mid-year episode is not about beating you up. It's not about looking at all the things you said you were going to do and didn't do. That's just not my style. That doesn't get us anywhere. It's not helpful. Okay? Rather, it's about learning. Okay, why didn't you do the things you said you were going to do? Maybe did you start too big? How could you start smaller today? Maybe you didn't have accountability of a group and that's what you need? Okay, let's start today. Consider this a gentle tap, tap, tap of how are you doing with the habits you're practicing in your day. Are they directing you to where you want to be next month, next year? If not, this is a great time to shift course. Small shifts make big changes. One of my favorite quotes and things to look at. Small hinges move big doors. Okay, 1% at a time. I am here for you. Living my life to the best of my ability today with kindness and compassion. And then tomorrow, trying for 1% better. I've got you, warrior. I've got you. And hey, I like to picture you sitting and listening to these while drinking a nice cup of tea or coffee or some sparkling water. Any chance you could head over and for the cost of that coffee, tea, or sparkling water, support the show so I can keep it ad-free? www.patreon.com/Susie Pettit. It would mean a lot to me. And you know what? If you don't have a life coach yet, someone to gently nudge you towards your greatness, someone to speak in your ear and say, you've got this, I see the master in you, that amazingness in you, I would love to be yours. If you're a woman over 40, join our Midlife Warrior membership. It is the most supportive community online. We are working on joy this month, actually, and I'd love to support you in there. As for individual one-on-one, I'll put a link to my schedule in the show notes. If I have room, I would love and be honored to support you. You matter to me, amazing warrior. Let's go get it.
Thank you for listening to the Love Your Life show. If you want to hear more from Susie and support the show, be sure to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. Also, leave a review and share this podcast with friends and family. Go get 'em, warriors.